Not, don't leave property for the moment, shoes and shirts and clothes, but inwardly, why do you collect? Memories, galore, experiences, and all that you call a rich life. The more experiences you have, the more knowledge, the greater the richness of living. And therefore, you have more knowledge than I have, jealousy, you follow, you are more important than, and so on, so on, so on. So why does the mind collect at all? If it is afraid of being empty, nothing, then accumulation becomes imperative. I am a Hindu. That becomes extraordinarily important.
So I think you also accumulate because in your relationships with people and with your society, a person that doesn't have a certain cleverness or can't relate very well. In other words, I know that sounds bad when it comes out, even as I hear it myself, but you accumulate a certain amount of knowledge so that you can deal with the confusion, except that you're part of the confusion then. Sir, perhaps you could... We know of no other state.
So have you tried not to accumulate? I know it's the tradition, it's the habit, it is the cultural, social, etc., to accumulate. Have you ever tried not to accumulate? And gone into it and see what happens if you don't accumulate? Would you be an idiot? Would you lose social contact? Would you lose relationship? So, the mind that is frightened accumulates. And that mind says, I must see this whole thing in a flash. Right? This whole content of the unconscious in a flash. I haven't time to examine it, analyze it bit by bit, because I'll be dead by the end of 40 years. It may take 100 years, but some accident will come along, disease, and I'll be finished. There's the end of it. So the mind, being frightened of this emptiness, pours in, allows itself to be influenced, to be imprinted upon. And the more it is imprinted, the more clever it is, more profitable, and so on and so on. Now, one sees this very clearly in oneself. And which is important now, which has become the factual, the accumulation or the understanding of the nature of emptiness. If I am accumulating, if the mind is accumulating, then the quality of the mind, which is empty, cannot be seen. And if the mind says, I must understand the emptiness, it will be a collective emptiness. I don't know. Accumulation. That's another thing which is going to acquire. It's another thing that is going to collect and use. So, see what is taking place. So, the mind realizes any movement out of fear, conscious or unconscious, is not only a separative process, but also a cumulative process in order to protect itself. Therefore, the mind's concern is then not be bothered by the collective at all. I don't know if you're not to be concerned with the collection you have, because what you have is very tawdry anyhow. Even though it is unconscious and all the holy hocus pocus of the unconscious, it is tawdry, it is very trivial. So the mind now is not concerned with the trivial, and to come to that the mind must have gone through a great deal of discipline, great deal of order, an inward quality which isn't disturbed by circumstances, environment and so on. Then what is the relationship? Sorry to go on, you don't mind. What is the relationship between this understanding not of what one has collected and why it has been collected, what is the energy that collects it, which is fear and so on, but can the mind function out of emptiness? I don't know if I am making myself clear. I have functioned, the mind has functioned through collected memories, right? Through accumulation. And one sees such action must sustain fear and contradiction, because you have collected much more than I have. You are much more brilliant, much more active, much more all the rest of it. I am not. So there's competition, comparison, fear, right? So I'm asking myself, asking a question which is the mind which doesn't accumulate at all, because it sees the futility of accumulation, the truth of accumulation, or the falseness of accumulation. Can such a mind function at all?
far more intelligent than us.
I don't know, sir. Ask,
No, the reason to say is
go into it. Don't say anything. Find out. Find out why you accumulate. Huh? Now, isn't that order? A mind freed from every form of inward accumulation. And therefore, it will affect the outer. Can such a mind function in this world? Earn a livelihood, follow it also. Huh? Go to the office.
What's replaced it?
Huh?
What's replaced it?
Beg your pardon?
This accumulation. What is there instead?
What is there instead if there is no accumulation? The open skies.
I understand.
Now,
This
madam,
hill
this
out
is,
here.
this is, you know, what we are talking about. This is real meditation. To empty them, for the mind emptying itself of everything that it has accumulated. Try it. Do it and you'll see what is involved in it. All your images of the husband, the wife, the society, the image of utopia, you follow?